Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for August 29th, actually. Season 4, episode 241. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. That's what you see over there. It's kind of like a time machine of information, so you can actually go back all the way to 2020 and any of those months therein and any of those days therein, and essentially go back to the news that was posted and aggregated into ohmTown.com. We only take a little bit of headlines, and so what we're going to be talking about today is back to the theatrical re-release, artificial sweetener sabotages treatment, birdseed VR, Taco Bell replacement plan goes poorly, waiting for a 5e adaptation, Egypt recovers 2,000-year-old statues, a fight over 13 cents per phone, dumped fuel costs $79 million, California snakes that need saving. Sorry, I had to do the alliteration kind of thing. And 5 PC games on sale for under $10, but this is a time machine episode, so to you it'll be under $10, but for those of us who are in the prime timeline, I don't know what the price is right now. But enjoy the show. See you in a little bit as I run my intro. All right, let's get going. The first article is over on the Wanted channel. Great Scott, Back to the Future is getting a snazzy theatrical re-release. The 1984 time travel classic is coming back to the big screen to celebrate its 40th anniversary. That's right, Cheryl Eddy over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. 40 years ago, Back to the Future came out. I'm going to have to watch that again. According to Universal press release, this marks the first time Back to the Future will be presented in the world's largest screens, offering fans the opportunity to experience the film's scope and spectacle in the most immersive formats yet. I hope this is over at the Sphere. I want to see it in the Sphere. That'd be cool in the Sphere. Can I say Sphere a bunch of times? So apparently there's a poster for it. Turn back the clock. Save the clock. I remember that. Save the clock. Out of time, the license plate. That couldn't exist, I don't think, anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a fun movie to watch. There's some creepy elements. And not necessarily ready for kids, considering there's kind of an assault thing in there. And yeah. Every once in a while, I watch a movie as an adult and go, that really sucks that that's even in there. But it shows the reality. So the crown jewel is the Back to the Future trilogy 40th anniversary limited edition gift set. In that, you'll get all 3 films in 4K Ultra HD plus Blu-ray plus digital, packaged with a collectible flux capacitor steelbook, an exclusive Gibson mini guitar replica, an out-of-time metal license plate, a Back to the Future, a visual history booklet, and an assortment of replica items from the Universal Archives. That's an October 14th anniversary release, ahead of the October 21st aka Back to the Future Day, for those familiar with certain key details in Back to the Future Part 2. So you get all of that right there. Those on the podcast, because this will still be a podcast over on wherever you catch pod. So Non Sequitur News will persist. Or the others will persist if somebody is interested in hosting the show and putting it on. I mean, as long as they want to put it on, it could be a 15-minute show and they only go over 5 articles, or an hour-long show, they go over 10 articles and they have their own co-host. I'm willing to co-host. But yeah, anyway. So if the $150 gift set is too rich for your blood, you can also pick up individual steelbooks for the 3 films, or a set of trilogy, the whole trilogy, basically, in 4K, Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and digital. If you're ever thinking of reselling stuff, get all of the physical media you can, because digital, you're SOL. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Artificial sweetener. A popular artificial sweetener could sabotage cancer treatment, according to a study. Sucralose changes the gut microbiome, disrupts T cell activity, and reduces the effectiveness of immunotherapy. Sucralose is a widely used artificial sweetener for people aiming to cut calories or control blood sugar. But new research from the University of Pittsburgh and UPMC Hillman Cancer Center indicate that it may not be suitable for patients receiving cancer treatments. The article is over at scitechdaily.com, put together by University of Pittsburgh. So, yeah, University of Pittsburgh and UPMC Hillman Cancer Center have a new study published in the journal Cancer Discovery by the American Association for Cancer Research reported that the individuals with melanoma or non-small cell lung cancer who consumed large amounts of sucralose responded less effectively to immunotherapy and had lower survival rates compared to those who consumed little of the sweetener. Arginine is the possible solution. It says it's easy to say stop drinking diet soda when the patients are being treated for cancer. They are already dealing with enough, so asking them to drastically alter their diet may not be realistic. So we need to meet patients where they are. That's why it's so exciting that arginine supplementation could be a simple approach to counteract the negative effects of sucralose on immunotherapy. So they go into greater detail about this, but immune checkpoint inhibitors such as anti-PD-1 enhance T cell activity, enabling these immune cells to attack cancer more effectively. Arginine plays a crucial role in supporting T cell function, particularly in the context of cancer. So talk to your doctor, I guess. I'm not a doctor. Human data and future trials to assess the relevance of these findings for humans. The researchers looked at 132 patients with advanced melanoma or non-small cell lung cancer who received anti-PD-1 therapy alone or in combination with chemo. Patients filled out detailed diet history questionnaires, included questions about how often they consumed artificial sweeteners in coffee, tea, and diet soda. This weekend, I made a major discovery in my areas of research, which right now are talking about, and it's really interesting because a streamer that I always watch at night, late at night, because they're from South Africa, Dunkstar, kind of regularly talks about this. If you don't have an inner monologue or the ability, there's two different things. It's adendophobia, not a phobia. It's not a phobia. Adendophagia and my God, I just actually forgot the thing that aphantasia. Sorry, geez. So if you don't have an inner monologue, it's adendophagia, and if you don't have the ability to create anything in your mind's eye, you know what? Hold on a second. My brain just went blank. Okay, so I am doing research into aphantasia and adendophagia, and basically made a major discovery about these two being tied together, and I'm doing this with its impact on creativity. And there's other things, tertiary things that I'm doing this research in. And so I always find it really fascinating when somebody is doing research into something and they go, oh my gosh, we discovered this kind of a thing. And we also have this kind of answer to this kind of thing. And I'd have to read this study to see where the funding came from and if there's anything else going on in here. But they are interested in looking at how other sugar substitutes such as aspartame, saccharin, xylitol, and stevia impact the immune system and response to immunotherapy. I'm always interested in why they're looking at this kind of thing. Like, how did you come to the conclusion that some sugar supplement or sugar substitute is impacting things? So, right? What is the motivation here? So yeah, if you don't have any inner monologue, it's called anendophagia. And if you don't have the ability to create anything in your mind's eye, it's aphantasia. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? These two concepts. And I think that they're intimately tied together. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Reality Hacker. Birdseed VR is an amateur bird watching photography sim. It's a VR game or virtual environment. It says announced today in Vancouver, Team Buffalo. Buffalo Bird CVR is designed around real live bird behavior that looks to mimic distinctive calls, movement, appearance, flight patterns. Your shots are rated on a 5-star scale while capturing photos alone or in multi-line online multiplayer. With friends, you can keep track of your progress in a journal. This made me want to play No Man's Sky. And the reason why is because I want to be able to catalog everything on a planet that I've discovered. Regardless, I want to be able to catalog everything in it, and I want a virtual catalog in game that I can export as Markdown. I think it would be a lot of fun to basically be a galactic anthropologist, I guess, going around and cataloging everything. What do you think? So, examining everything from a global, evolutionary, and biocultural perspective. So, cataloging everything and seeing how everything interacts and all of that kind of stuff. But it's supposed to be what makes humans human. That's what anthropology is. So, what is it when you do it on a global scale? Not just, it's like planetary anthropology. What would be the term for that? It doesn't exist today, right? Planetary anthropology. Yeah. Oh, planetary anthropology is an emerging field that applies anthropological theories and methods to understand humanity's role in and response to global crises like climate change and ecological degradation. So what do you call it when you catalog an entire planet? I don't know. Let me know in the comments over on YouTube. Can't leave comments here in Twitch. You have to leave them over on YouTube. It's kind of an interesting problem. I think it might be one of the reasons why Twitch is somewhat limited in its growth, because not everybody wants to sit and watch a stream all the time. They want to be able to come back and interact with the rest. So you have to go to Discord. You have to leave Twitch. It kind of sucks for Twitch. And Twitch deletes everything after 60 days. Even when you pay, they delete everything after 60 days. The community just has to dissolve somewhere else, go somewhere else, hang out in another chat somewhere. And it's all ephemeral. It goes away. Anyway, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. By the way, if you haven't guessed it, Non Sequitur News is basically about jumping from topic to topic. It's kind of chaotic, but not. There's no real thread other than the community that is in Non Sequitur News here on Twitch and YouTube and over on ohmTown.com and the podcast and the Discord and now the Patreon. So Taco Bell's attempt to replace drive-thru employees is not going well. They say we exaggerate, but only a little. The much maligned tech experiment, which was deployed at 500 Taco Bell locations across the United States, isn't quite dead yet. But it's received enough backlash since being unleashed on hangry motorists that even one of the company's top executives is having second thoughts. It says, we're learning a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it says, we're learning a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Taco Bell Chief Digital and Technology Officer Dane Matthews conceded to the Wall Street Journal in what sounded like an awfully weary tone. You didn't really be honest about anything other than you've learned a lot. Great. That's makes it sound really depressing, but we're learning a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the article's deck statement over at Futurism. Frank Landemore put the article together. It says, for whom the bell tolls. So I think like everybody, sometimes it lets me down, he admitted, but sometimes it really surprises me. The response on social media suggests that most customers probably don't want their drive-thru to surprise them. At best, there's short-lived amusement in messing with the AI with outrageous requests like 18,000 cups of water. At worst, customers just get annoyed or weirded out, they say. And there's links to these two kind of instances. Matthews conceded that it may not make sense to use AI at every drive-through. Per the Wall Street Journal, he further determined that super busy restaurants with long lines might be better off with a human handling things because they can interpret. AI might just lock up, spend too much time processing, etc. That's really the problem. AI takes time to process. Yes, it can respond with a bulk response off of bulk data input, but it takes time to process instance. Like I say, I want this, and it has to go, is there anything else? Yes, I want this. And it takes time to do that interaction, much longer than interacting with a human. Now, if all you said was, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, the AI would be able to soak that all up and put it into an order. But that's really not how humans interact. Wendy's announced this year that it was expanding its AI-powered drive-thrus to 500 more locations, even though it previously admitted its system required human intervention a baconated 14% of the time. What the hell? Baconated? It's not a crunch wrap for Taco Bell's AI efforts either. You know what? I'm leaving this article. The next article is over in the Warcrafter channel. The greatest D&D adventure is still waiting for a 5e adaptation. Wizards of the Coast periodically releases older modules with rules updated to the latest iteration of the game, which is currently the 5th edition with its 2024 expansion. I think Wizards of the Coast is killing D&D with all of its BS, but anyway. Many classics have received this treatment, and some can be found in anthology books such as Tales from the Yawning Portal. However, the campaign that was voted by Dragon Magazine in 2004 as the greatest D&D adventure of all time has still yet to be adapted to 5e. It's probably... Wait, so Francesco Cacciatore put the article, or Francesco put the Cacciatore took the article over to Polygon.com. The deck statement says, Queen of the Spiders is a piece of D&D history that still requires you to learn THAC0 or to hit AC 0. And so that's, I guess, the thing. I thought it was going to be something else, but like Ravenloft or whatever. So Tales from the Yawning Portal. However, the campaign that was voted Dragon Magazine in 2004, the favorite, is Queen of the Spiders by Gary Gygax. An official Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So Queen of the Spiders is a compilation of 7 interconnected adventures that create a fast-paced, far-ranging campaign that leads players from a mountain fort infested by giants to the chaotic madness of the abyss. It all starts with the classic trilogy Against the Giants, 3 modules authored by Gary Gygax in 1978, and goes on. I'm not going to say it all, but anyway. This article is pretty cool. It has pictures of these original covers for... like TSR, the Game Wizards. All of this was bought and now is, I guess, Wizards of the Coast stuff. What sets these giants and these modules apart is that there is actually some plot, but it's subtle. Setting of the Hill Giant Chief teases that the different types of giants, who usually don't love each other, are banding together for these raids. But this oddity is soon forgotten as players try to survive the brutality of an entire fortress full of powerful monsters. So this is a long article. Has a mind flayer in it. Gygax loved to populate his dungeons with different kinds of monsters, and his imagination is on full throttle in the fertile terrain of the Underdark. However, the ecology of these creatures is still undeveloped, and they do little but wait for the players to pass by. Yeah, that would be fun to play in. This is they have a picture here of the modern rendition of Errol High Sinlu, created by a user named Rhineglade in a subreddit called Greyhawk. Looks like a blast. I don't know. I loved D&D when I used to play it. I would love to get a group together and play it some more, but nobody I know plays these games. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Prime Glass. Egypt recovers 2,000-year-old statues from sunken city, according to ArtNet News. The article is over at artnet.com. It's Egypt's first underwater excavation in 25 years, and they're pulling these statues out of the water. Prior to the establishment of Alexandria in the 4th century BCE, the port of Canopus was one of the most important drivers of the Egyptian economy. It stood at the westernmost point of the Nile Delta, and together with Tonis Heraklion, on the opposite bank, facilitated trade across the Mediterranean Sea. It remained a prominent commercial and military hub during the Ptolemaic dynasty. It's hard to say when you're running your mouth. And ensuing Roman occupation, which lasted roughly 600 years. Canopus's coastal position, however, was made vulnerable to earthquakes and rising sea levels, and by the 8th century it was lost beneath the waters of what is today Alexandria's Abu Qir Bay. And there's some statues. I would love to be a diver doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, I haven't been in any deep water than a bathtub in so long I probably wouldn't know what to do anymore. Pretty cool. I'm sure some of this stuff is amazing and some of it has been weathered just to bits, but earlier this month, the Alexandria National Museum opened an exhibition that presented nearly 100 artifacts from the lost cities of Canopus and Heraklion. Many of the finds were uncovered by a joint French-Egyptian marine archaeology team that began work in the Abu Qir Bay during the 1990s. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Smack Talk. Why Apple is fighting legal battles in 2 countries over 13 cents per phone. We're going to jump straight on over to the source. We don't even use pennies anymore, I think. It's getting phased out, right? We don't want those freedom pennies. So Ben Lovejoy over at 9to5mac.com put this article together. So 3 quick pieces of jargon, it says. Standard essential patents. It says it's 3 quick pieces of jargon. Given that the companies who develop standards essential patents are also involved in setting the standards which require them, and that consumers ultimately pay the cost, there is an understanding that the terms should be lower than what might be demanded for more general patents. Fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory SEPs must be licensed on this FRAND term. So that 13 cents battle that Apple has been involved in, a very long battle, according to this article, against one of these Optus Wireless Technology, which is owned by a New York-based hedge fund. Optus owns just a handful of the total number of 4G SEPs, but the company is demanding large sums of money for licenses. In the U.S., a court initially awarded Optus $506 million in damages. That was subsequently reduced to $300, which both companies appealed. The judge in that case decided that a new damages trial would need to be held from scratch. What concerns Apple is not the 13 cents difference, but the global precedent that this would set. The cellular modem in an iPhone costs Apple around $20. If you scaled all of this up, SEPs required for that modem by the increase awarded in the UK, then the company would be paying a total of around $40 in patent licenses compared to $5 to $6 it currently pays. What's even more worrying about Apple is that, the UK Supreme Court declared that it had the power to set rates that would apply globally, not just within the UK itself. Apple has applied for leave to appeal, and Optus is expected to respond sometime next month. A decision may not be made until next year. So, pretty wild. But I think it's extortionist. I mean, these people are buying rights. They're not the inventors. They're not the creators. And having been in this situation myself, I hate the idea. Even though I'm the one that, wherein the patent would be applicable, like it would be my patent. But anyway. It seems exploitive, but I also know that sometimes a person wants to just create something and not do the day-to-day money grind, running it as a business. They want to be able to license it to somebody or sell it wholesale, right? Just get 10 years worth of profits. You take it, you know you can make your money back because you can charge a higher rate than I'm willing to chase in court like this. So I'll invent something, sell it to somebody, they can go run with it, they license it, basically the patent from me, and they sell it and bring it to market, and I don't have to do jack for it, right? I just get paid. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Delta agrees to pay $79 million after a plane dumped thousands of gallons of fuel over homes and schools in California during an emergency. Delta agreed to pay nearly $79 million in a lawsuit filed in 2020 after suffering an engine problem. Flight 89 dumped fuel all over thousands of buildings. That included an elementary school where 20 children were treated for skin and eye irritation. Jesus, is that low? Delta Airlines agreed to pay that nearly $80 million. The proposed settlement, which requires a judge's approval, was filed Monday in a class action case that's been in litigation since January 2020. That's how long it takes. Pete Sim over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together. Pardon me. Dumping fuel is not uncommon, but typically planes jettison over non-populated areas like the ocean. Guess this person waited until they could do it on an elementary school. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Mobile. Have you seen these snakes in California? Why you shouldn't kill them. The article is over at phys.org. Veronica Fernandez Alvarado put the article together. Sadie Harley and Andrew Zenin put the article together as well. They edited and reviewed it, respectively. So if you've seen this kind of a snake, don't kill them. It says it makes your skin crawl. You're not alone. Many people are somewhat fearful of snakes and reptiles in general, according to Cleveland Clinic. So was that a rattlesnake? How to identify venomous snakes? The rattlesnake are only native venomous snake in California, according to a University of California statewide integrated pest management program. So the reptiles are typically hang out under rocks, logs, wood piles, National Park Service said. And you can identify a rattlesnake by a triangular shaped head, diamond patterned scales, and the distinct sound of the rattle at the end, at the end of its tail. However, you shouldn't always. So rattlesnakes can grow up to 4 feet long, tend to be heavier, chubbier bodies than other snake species. So the golden state is home to dozens of non-venomous snakes, like rattlesnakes. They're most active in spring and summer. But California king snake, according to Starkey, let me back up a little bit. According to Starkey and reptile website California Herps, here are some of the non-venomous snakes commonly found in California and what they look like. And they keep vermin low, right? So they eat things like rats and mice and other pests. But they are a pest to humans because they could bite you, and that kind of sucks, right? Particularly if it's a venomous snake. The rest of it hurts like a son of a bitch, but California king snake, yellow-bellied racer, sharp-tailed snake, striped racer or whip snake, and coach whip racer are all snakes that are not. Is it a gopher snake or a rattlesnake? Gopher snakes are commonly misidentified as rattlesnakes due to their similar pattern. So, right, these are all non-venomous snakes, but then they mention a gopher snake down below instead of mentioning it up in the list. Gopher snakes are commonly misidentified as rattlesnakes due to their similar pattern and color, but they're harmless to people. Gopher snakes tend to be tan-colored, large square brown blotches or saddles along their back and smaller gray spots on their sides. Gopher snakes tend to be a bit bigger than rattlesnakes, typically measuring up to 8 feet in length. Look, regardless, I'm going to run from all of this. You can read more about this. It says, follow these tips from the National Park Service to stay clear of snakes. Don't go out into nature. Oh, it doesn't say that there? Oh, that's just me. Let's move on to the last article for today's non sequitur news. 5 PC games on sale for under $10. And the author says that they highly recommend playing over Labor Day the weekend. But unfortunately, I'm in the time machine, so you can do that if you hear this before Labor Day. Otherwise, you're going to be paying attention to this probably on Labor Day if you're watching this right now. Anyway, Humble Bundle Summer Sale exists. IGN put the article together. Jacob Kindland actually wrote this, and it says we're in between major Steam sales at the moment, but another big game sale is going on right now. Humble Bundle Summer Sale, where there are a ton of discounted games. If you're looking to get stuff that's great for under $10, Inscription, Hollow Knight, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, Gris or Gree, I don't know how that's pronounced actually. And overall, the Humble Bundle sale. Go check it all out. Go check out Humble Bundle. I've bought a lot of stuff from Humble Bundle, usually books, not really games. But anyway, that is it for today. Non sequitur news. We're going to bounce you back into the regular timeline, doing the daily 2 weeks in review, and it's a rolling 2 weeks. So you get about how many articles? So it's 10 days, 10 articles, 100 articles. I need to change my thing. It's no longer 160 because after this weekend, no more weekends will be embedded into the stream. And so it'll be 100 articles that we have talked about over the last 2 weeks. The weekend shows are now going to be just a list and a short summary of the article. And it'll all be posted over on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/ohmTown and you'll get all of it. And as we develop more shows, it'll be included in the membership, at least until further notice. We'll probably keep certain tiers in place, but right now it's just $5, and it will be $5 for you for all of the content. As even if we move forward and we grow and we have to, pay additional hosts and stuff like that, then your tier will stay at $5 and you'll get everything. So at any rate, thank you very much for hanging out. If you're hanging out, and if you're not, then I hope if you hear this that you come back and hang out for the non sequitur news. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us over on YouTube and subscribe here on Twitch, and then go over to Patreon and subscribe there. And again, all of this benefits ohmTown and all ohmTown citizens by keeping ohmTown.com ad free. We don't even track. So once you sign in, you're just going to be able to parse the news how you see fit. There's 6 main categories, 50 channels within it. We're going to be growing it still. We make announcements when another article or another channel comes online, but we're going to keep it at 50 for now. I was planning on launching 4 more, but we're going to hold off for a little bit. So go and check it all out, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.